The news from Tehran today, January 14, 2026, is more than just a regional headline. It's a direct shock to Beijing's energy strategy, sending ripples far beyond the Middle East. What might seem like a distant fire is, in reality, a present danger for the world's second-largest economy. For years, China built its energy security on discounted oil from Iran, Venezuela, and Russia, betting on their isolation to secure a steady, cheap supply. This approach allowed China to fuel its rapid industrial growth while keeping costs low, even as global markets fluctuated. But today, that gamble is unraveling before the world's eyes. The once reliable flow of oil is now threatened by forces beyond Beijing's control. Political unrest in Iran, economic collapse in Venezuela, and tightening sanctions on Russia are turning what were once dependable energy sources into unpredictable disruptions, making every shipment uncertain. The very factors that made their oil cheap, sanctions, instability, and desperation, now threaten to sever China's energy lifeline, putting its economic ambitions at risk. China's energy security is suddenly hostage to the political fortunes of some of the world's most volatile regimes, leaving Beijing with fewer options and greater uncertainty. Protests in Iran, power struggles in Caracas, and sanctions on Moscow all have immediate, tangible consequences for China's oil supply and financial interests, threatening to disrupt not just energy flows, but also global markets. Beijing's calculated advantage is now a pronounced vulnerability, as every new crisis abroad sends tremors through its economy, slowing factories and shaking investor confidence. The great energy gamble is being tested like never before, and the outcome is anything but certain. The stakes are high, and the risks are growing with every passing day. The world is watching closely to see if China's strategy can withstand the storm, or if this distant fire will ignite a crisis that reaches every corner of the globe. China's meteoric rise as the world's top oil importer was fueled by a bold and unconventional strategy: source cheap crude from sanctioned states, sidestepping Western influence and rewriting the rules of global energy trade. This approach allowed China to secure vast quantities of oil at prices far below the global market, giving its industries a powerful edge. Iran became the first pillar of this strategy. China bought oil others wouldn't touch, using shadowy fleets and complex deals for deep discounts. These clandestine operations, often conducted under the cover of darkness, allowed China to quietly build up reserves while avoiding international scrutiny. In Venezuela, Beijing traded billions in loans for guaranteed oil shipments, tying its fortunes to a crumbling regime. The relationship was risky, but the promise of steady, discounted oil was too tempting to ignore, and China became Venezuela's economic lifeline. Russia completed the triad. As Moscow turned east after Western sanctions, China snapped up discounted oil and gas, building pipelines and deepening ties. This partnership not only secured energy, but also strengthened political bonds between the two powers. These deals gave China leverage and low prices, but also bound its energy security to unstable partners. The web of agreements created both opportunity and vulnerability, as China's fortunes became intertwined with volatile regimes. The shadow fleet, secret transfers, and opaque financing became the backbone of this alternative supply chain. Behind closed doors, deals were struck and oil flowed, often hidden from the world's eyes. For a time, it worked. China fueled its growth on the cheap, powering its factories, cities, and highways with a steady stream of discounted oil. The nation's economic engine roared ahead, seemingly unstoppable. But the risks were always there, hidden beneath the surface. Every deal carried the threat of disruption, and every shipment relied on fragile alliances. Now, as instability grows and global tensions rise, the cracks in this web are impossible to ignore. Supply disruptions and political turmoil threaten to unravel the carefully woven network. China's energy lifeline is only as strong as its weakest link, and today, those links are being tested like never before. Iran, once the cornerstone of China's discounted oil strategy, is now its biggest risk. Widespread protests and economic collapse threaten the very machinery that pumps oil to Chinese ports. Years of sanctions and mismanagement have gutted Iran's economy and crippled its oil sector. Infrastructure is aging, investment is scarce, and the rial's collapse fuels public anger. For China, every new protest is a threat to supply. Cheap oil can vanish overnight. Beijing faces a dilemma: support a faltering regime to protect its interests, or risk losing access altogether. The unrest exposes the flaw in China's plan. By tying its energy security to Iran, it imported Iran's volatility. The discounted barrels now come with a steep price, uncertainty, and risk. China's energy planners must now weigh the cost of cheap oil against the danger of sudden disruption. The Persian Pillar is cracking, and the consequences are global. Venezuela is the cautionary tale of China's loans for oil strategy gone wrong. Beijing poured over $50 billion into Caracas, expecting steady oil in return. Instead, political chaos and economic collapse have left China holding worthless IOUs and undelivered barrels. Sanctions, decaying infrastructure, and leadership paralysis have gutted Venezuela's oil output. Even China's sanction evasion tactics can't overcome a broken state. The oil-backed loans are now backed by little more than hope, leaving Beijing with a financial black hole. Venezuela's collapse shows how quickly an energy partnership can turn into a costly quagmire. With Iran and Venezuela faltering, China's energy hopes rest on Russia. The No Limits partnership has made Moscow China's top supplier, but sanctions cast a long shadow. To keep oil flowing, China relies on shadow fleets and risky, opaque deals, each one a potential liability. Western enforcement grows tighter, targeting ships, insurers, and banks, making every transaction more perilous. The shadow fleet itself is a hazard, old, poorly maintained, and prone to disaster. China's deepening ties with Russia bring discounted oil, but also diplomatic headaches and new dependencies. If the conflict escalates or sanctions tighten, even this lifeline could snap. China's stable northern supply is anything but secure. U.S. policy acts as the invisible hand, subtly yet powerfully reshaping China's energy game, influencing every strategic move. Through sanctions, diplomatic pressure, and financial enforcement, the U.S. targets the very pillars of Beijing's discounted oil network, aiming to disrupt its foundation. In Iran, relentless U.S. sanctions force China's purchases underground, significantly raising costs and risks, making each transaction a calculated gamble. In Venezuela, Washington's isolation of the Maduro regime has not only crippled oil output, but also blocked China's repayment, creating a financial quagmire. With Russia, the US-led price cap allows China to buy discounted oil, but only under strict conditions, adding layers of complexity to the deal. Every new sanction or enforcement action sends shockwaves through China's supply chain, causing ripples that affect global markets. The US isn't just targeting oil, it's destabilizing the entire system China meticulously built to insulate itself from external pressures. China now faces a direct geopolitical contest, with its energy security caught in the crossfire, challenging its strategic resilience. The American factor has turned China's energy quest into a high-stakes chess match, where every move is critical. Every move Beijing makes is now shaped by Washington's next play, as they anticipate and react to each strategic shift. The board is set, and the stakes are global, with the world watching as this intricate game unfolds. The fallout from global oil disruptions hits home in China's teapot refineries. These nimble, independent plants thrive on cheap, sanctioned crude, but as supplies dry up, they're squeezed to the brink. Lacking the resources of state giants, teapots can't easily switch to pricier market-rate oil. When Iranian, Venezuelan, or Russian flows falter, teapots cut output or shut down, shrinking domestic fuel supply. This boosts prices, hurts competition, and ripples through China's economy. The teapot's struggle exposes the fragility of China's energy gamble. What began as a clever workaround now threatens jobs, growth, and stability at home. Geopolitical risk is no longer abstract, it's at the factory gate. China's energy troubles ripple across the globe. As the world's top importer, any shift in China's oil buying jolts global prices and supply chains. When discounted barrels dry up, China turns to the open market, driving up costs for everyone. Western sanctions on Russia depend on China's purchases to keep oil flowing. If China pulls back, markets could face a shock. Domestically, energy volatility threatens China's growth, jobs, and social stability. Rising fuel prices and supply disruptions can quickly turn economic pain into political unrest. The government knows energy security is national security. China's vulnerability also limits its foreign policy options, forcing tough diplomatic choices. The quest for energy independence has created new dependencies and risks. For all its economic might, China remains deeply tied to a global system it can't fully control. China stands at a crossroads, forced to rethink its energy future. The discounted oil gamble brought short-term gains but long-term risks that now threaten stability. Beijing faces three paths: double down on risky partners, pivot back to market-based suppliers, or accelerate its shift to renewables. Doubling down means deeper entanglement with unstable regimes and greater confrontation with the West. Pivoting to traditional suppliers raises costs but improves reliability, at the price of diplomatic balancing. A rapid energy transition promises long-term security but can't solve today's crisis. Most likely, China will blend all three approaches, hedging its bets in a world of uncertainty. The choices Beijing makes now will shape not just its own future, but the global energy order. The energy chess game is far from over. The next move belongs to China.